Yo, what's good? It's your boy Druid, and I got a killer story for y'all today. I hope y'all enjoy this. Drop a like if you do. Now let's get into the video. So, this happened in my junior year of high school, and as y'all can see, this is the first time I tried to buy flour. October of 2021. I had just gotten into a brand new friend group, right? It was toxic as hell, and it was full of like cheating between people in the friend group, uh, people making stuff up. One girl named Yolanda was like saying or would reference that she wanted to like hook up with people or would hook up with anyone in the lunch table if she could. The whole thing was whack. But one day, me and Yolanda are talking, and I get this idea of why not we do something on the day off, because the following Monday was like a teacher workday. And so we're like, shoot, we all have the day off. We all have nothing better to do. Let's go find somewhere and get fucked up. At the time, I was a pretty good kid. I had smoked before, but only once, and I had gotten a little buzz, but to call it high, not really. It was like a really strong Nick buzz, but not Nick. Um, so I began scavenging my brain of like, how can I get weed? I don't even like think about trying to get alcohol. My parents don't drink. They're clean straight. Me, not so much. But alcohol wasn't really on my mind. I wanted to smoke some weed. Half of the friend group sounded interested because, like, so we're sitting at the lunch table as this conversation happens, and Yolanda's pretty loud, right? So when she gets interested, she's like, "Yeah," and like tries to rope everyone into it. One of the guys, Nathan, he's he's also in some of my other videos. I spoke with him like 2 weeks ago actually, while he's back from Christmas break. But yeah, so my bro Nathan, he's like, I could get us some alcohol. Like, I can slowly siphon it while my dad drinks that weekend, and then if there's anything left over, I'll just snag the bottle. In my head, a single mason jar of Jack isn't gonna mess up 8 people, but at the same time, I didn't really comprehend whiskey and hadn't had it at that point. But I managed to convince Nathan that we should get some weed. He's excited, but just like me, he's also piss broke. I go back home later that night, and in one of the I open this book off a shelf, and out falls my holy grail, a $20 bill. I immediately hop on and start texting every single person in the group chat, asking if they're interested, if they have any money. Sadie texted me back, and they say, "Yeah, I got some shit. I got 20 on match." So at that point, I'm just like, fuck, now we got the money. How in the world am I gonna get my hands on some flour? I immediately snapped my fingers and realized I knew exactly who to go to. So at that point in my life, my junior year of high school, I managed to piss off some people, and I never figured out exactly who it was, but it was in the friend group of one of my middle school exes, and or maybe just the middle school ex. And one of the persons was going online, giving out my number and giving out my Snapchat to guys and telling them that I was interested in a relationship. What those guys found out pretty quickly was, no, I'm not interested. That being said, I did have some conversations with some of the guys that got my number, and one of the guys ended up actually being this guy that I realized I can get weed off of. You see, we realized our sexual needs will not be met by each other, but we have skateboarding in common. Me from when I was younger, and my current like snowboarding stuff, and he was the guy that would show up every single day at the skate park. And I had just moved and hadn't gotten to go, so I was like, shoot, I can have someone come teach me how to do like an actual ollie or to do it properly. Whatever, someone to hang out with. And he also mentions that he's a stoner. Except I found out through Yolanda before I found out through him. His name's Kevin, for the sake of the video. And Kevin is quite the character. He shows up to school sometimes. I never really figured out when, why, and like to give you frame of reference, this is not a big school where you can just like go missing. We have like 140 people per class, so there's like less than 500 people in the whole high school. Like it's noticeable when you have a kid missing consistently, but I guess bro did not give fucks. Kudos to him. Bad advice. Go to school. Yeah, so me and Nick hit it off talking about skateboarding. And I remember that night when I find the 20 that he buys weed. And I was like, shoot, easy connect. You see, the people that I had smoked with the first time, I had kind of fallen out of touch with them. I hadn't talked to really any of them, maybe in passing, since like ninth grade. Either they stopped going to school, they went to different schools, or good question. I never really knew. But all that I cared about was that I had this connect. I had a plug. We had the money. I had the guy. All we had to do was to make it work. So I began hitting up Kevin. And he's super chill about it. I even talked to him. I bumped into him the next day at school. And he's like, bro, if it's going to happen, I can totally do it for you. But I have to know like pretty close to when it is. Because if it's anywhere after the weekend, like Saturday, Sunday, anywhere after Friday, I'm going to be out of town. I can't pull up. So I tell him that I'll have $40 just to bring me whatever. And he was super happy with that. I think by now you've already noticed that I made a grievous mistake in not asking at all what I was getting, how much I was getting, nothing about strains, nothing about how many grams you're getting, not about anything. Never since then have I spent more time with a plug trying to figure out where to go than what to get. And looking back on it now, I'm not even sure that Kevin was going to sell me weed because he, one, didn't ever smell. Because as high schoolers, we don't know how to clean up after ourselves. We're not smart. Our hands smell, our clothes smell the next day. But, like, looking back on it, like, if Blood looked the way he looked, he would have smelled the way he had smelled the night before. The next day comes and I meet up with Sadie and they give me their 20. I sit in the parking lot waiting for Kevin to show up, right? Kevin doesn't come, but it gets time for my first period and I'm just like, fuck it, I'm gonna go to school, sit to class, I'll see him through the halls. So Kevin, I bump into him at school. I asked him like, how's the mission going? And he said, I'm so sorry, bro. I don't have it. And I'm like, okay. He like kind of whispers it to me like there's something really important. He walks away and like real quick. And he texted me later that night saying the reason he didn't get it is because he got jumped. And he tried to blame the entire thing on his older sister who happened to be in my math class. His story was that he didn't have driving privileges from whatever reason. Even though he had no curfew, pretty much no rules, he got his driving privileges revoked. and his older sister wasn't gonna drive him to the serve unless she got cash for gas, and he didn't have enough money for it. He didn't budget, so he tries to ride his skateboard down. Kevin says he makes it all the way. It takes like almost an hour to to make it like the 5 miles, half walking, half trying to ride the awful infrastructure. Apparently, for some reason, he didn't go to the normal guy, or the normal guy wasn't there. And when he pulled up, he got jumped by three different guys, and he ended up like having to walk back home with his skateboard. And he called his sister, who was really pissed, to pick him up, which his sister did confirm that part, but she didn't say anything about the weed or anything about that, which I thought was kind of odd. So I text him back and I'm like, dude, dang, that's something. And uh, I guess he kind of got the idea that I didn't really believe him, and I was just like, can you think you could bring it tomorrow, on Friday, the last day that we could? And he says yeah, and then he doesn't show up to school that day. And when I got home that night, my mom told me that I couldn't go on the outing with my friends because although I was smart enough to clear all of the texts with Kevin and all my other friends, I somehow like missed the word smoking in a paragraph text. And this was back before you could like edit your text and stuff on iPhone. So like it just said like I can't wait to smoke something 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 whatever hoopla. And my mom was not having it. Really got on my ass and said that I would have to stay home with my siblings for the day that we were off. So that's what I ended up doing that day that we were off. So as you can see in front of you, I figured some of y'all want to see what I've been cooking up. Here's a listen. For those of y'all who've made it this far, thank y'all. It really means a lot. As far as my socials, is the same everywhere. Screw Druid. I'll see y'all later. Peace.